Message from Maeve. I guess she was at the Shift 3 meeting. And Jayna, the Sama head, was crashing out saying that... Hold on, let me read the text to you. You ready for this?
Sure.
This is amazing. Concerns were raised in Shift 3 briefing about medical equipment, tasers, etc. becoming legal with the Property Act. I tried to address them as best I could, but Jayna was present and was talking mad shit and chirping at me while I was at the podium, accusing the mayor's office of wanting to legalize murder and was crazy unprofessional. How do we have some fucking dumb fuck? That is the person that runs Sama.
What's Sama exactly?
It's the medical wing.
Okay, my advice is completely ignore it. And if need be, it's not an unvalid point about the medical equipment. So, I mean, we could plug that in there.
No, he don't. It's not. This dumb fuck literally has the authority as Sama to make.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Exactly. It's
yeah,
we
wrote it so they could.
Like, what the hell is happening? I feel like I'm dealing with is everyone else on the fucking short bus or something? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, sorry. It's early in the morning for me. I told we specifically wrote that so they can go ahead and draft their own legislation.
It's their job. That's a job.
That's not right.
That's a job. But I don't think anybody understands what the fuck our system is.
Well, the people, I don't think they understand what their capabilities are, or they're scared to exercise their capabilities. I don't know what it is, but there's a whole bunch of capabilities they have that we completely left the door open for, too.
I genuinely believe that other than Mumbles, right? Everyone else thought that getting voted into these positions gave them dictatorial powers.
We're not. Yeshia's not even dictatorial powers because she's not exercising any of the powers that she has, which.
But exactly.
Just because they women, it should be so like dictatorial powers, like.
Yeah. Wait. Let me look this up. Jayna. Oh, Jayna's a judge.
Oh, that. Oh, yeah. That's a judge. So,
Oh my God.
Yeah, but who is the then medical person that's in charge of the medical legislation?
I think her name is Jayna too. Is Jayna Pierce? No, this is Jayna Pierce. I have no fucking idea. Give me a second. Boats, thank you for the fresh sub. I am Abilene. Shouldn't it be a requirement for anyone with a bar license to understand the basic principles of our system? Actually, it probably is, but we have these fucking morons that are justices that refuse to. I mean, okay, you know what it is? I'll tell you. It doesn't even matter. Because, to quote Hart, when the governor of the state explained everyone's role, agree to disagree.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's what we're dealing with.
So was it the judge or the Soma person?
It was a judge. It was a judge.
Okay, yeah. You know, I don't know. I would ignore it if you really feel that it's just a little loophole that can get closed. Where, you know, we've written in the legislation that the other stuff is up to the other departments to kind of legislate, but we can plug medical equipment in there. And what's crazy unprofessional is
hold on. You ready for this? Yeah. Latest update. This legislation will be presented to the state as the past defining and limiting parts of the Constitution have been deemed unconstitutional, as in the past. This isn't even English. Hold on. Ready? This legislation will be presented to the state as in the past defining and limiting parts of the Constitution have been deemed unconstitutional. What does that even mean? Look at.
So, just based on what you read, it's them grasping at straws. They obviously couldn't articulate anything other than circular logic doublespeak that you just read off.
Defining and limiting parts of the Constitution?
I think what is trying to be said is that it's unconstitutional that, in their belief, parts of the legislation hamper the Constitution in some way.
I'm going to ask, can you explain what this means?
Yeah, that's good. That's a valid question. And again, who is the medical authority for that legislation? Because we should reach out to that person and just remind them that they can create their own list of illegal medical items and whatnot.
Okay, I said, can you please elaborate and explain what that means specifically? I find this very interesting because that is the heart of what legislation is. Defining out the Constitution.
I mean, okay, so we're talking about individuals that, are grasping at straws.
Yeah.
Have some kind of grudge. And
how do they have a grudge? We've been fucking working with them. They're mad because they tried to slip something through some like deceitful bullshit. They intentionally, Abilene, they told us they weren't going to do shit like this and abuse it, and they didn't want to make things complicated. They showed us the penal code, and then at the last minute slipped in a bunch of dog shit. So
I think your question of asking them what exactly that means is good. I'm excited to hear what that response is.
I am as well. Yeah.
I think that that legislation is top notch. It was signed off by both counties for the first time that quick. At least
yeah.
That's perfect legislation.
So
and it really gives
I have another
everyone else
thing. I want you to write another thing. Is that I want you to write a document, a new piece of legislation. I'm gonna get Mumbles to sign it too. It needs to be very, very less. Like, what would you say that? What was this high school language? This past one.
This was the language required. Forget middle school aside, as simple as clear as possible.
It wasn't. It was way too complicated.
No, they're playing dumb, Nino. No.
Abilene, trust me. You're underselling your intelligence here. I am promising you that this document that we wrote, that the Property Act one, is too complicated for most people.
So you want me to publish an idiot's guide on how to read the document that we just published? Is that what you want me to?
That would be good, but hang tight. I want you to write another piece of legislation that will state that it's going to state that any penal code change in order to be added, in order to be removed, in order for its language to be modified, will require either a cosign by the mayor's office in each respective county. Sub-bullet, as an example, if I sign in a penal code, it becomes Los Santos County. If Mumble signs it, it becomes Blaine County. If we both sign it, it becomes for both. Statewide, right? Number 2, as a consequence of case law, number 3, as a consequence of charges needed to be added following legislation passing.
I swear to everything, that's literally what our legislation says. Like, it has. This is weird because that our legislation says exactly all that as a consequence of common law, constitutional standards.
These people are idiots, though. Actually,
you know,
or alternative.
Like,
I'll give you an alternative. Or let's contest this entire judicial document. And that might be the better route, is that we contest the judicial document and we cite the actions that the judiciary took, which was to enact add penal code charges without any legislative backing. And then add on a impeachment. Which one do you think is the better route?
Okay. So I'm trying to log into my government email. I got a little dirty thing here, but so I'm not looking at it yet. Are you saying it's been outright denied or deferred to the state? What exactly occurred here?
Oh, no. I'm talking about something separate. Yeah. We moved away from the right to property.
No, we haven't, because there's something separate you're talking about is a result of their playing coy or stupid.
Right. Okay, so we'll roll it back, right?
Okay.
So fundamentally, the Constitution makes it very clear that there are the SAG document, everything makes it rather clear that that in order for things to become legal, illegal, etc., you have to go through the legislative process, right? And then as a consequence of that, penal code charges can be added, right? And what do you call it? They, however, have decided to abuse and misuse their authority by altering the penal code by illegalizing, prohibiting things without any legislative backing, without any case law, outside of their constitutional scope, right? And as a consequence of that, we now have penal code literally wavering and changing, not only like just out of the blue. And so either A, we have to write legislation to kind of dumb it down for them and write it in plain English, like, motherfuckers, you can't do this, right? Which would be the legislation I put up as an example. Or alternatively, we go and challenge their authority to make unilateral penal code changes outside of the prescribed system and attach that with an impeachment.
Okay, a couple things here.
Okay.
So, number one, if they're gonna contest this or give it a negative response, that's just they are supposed to provide an actual articulated explanation, not just this is unconstitutional because it's unconstitutional. It can't. That's void, right?
Yeah.
That right there. Okay. might be grounds to file an impeachment. That's bad. Now, if they care to explain, their explanation.
I'm talking about them adding all these charges recently.
Yeah. Okay. So
yeah,
you have jurisdictional authority to legislate over your county. No one can take that away.
Yeah.
And that includes things within the penal code. We have published a piece of legislation that says, now on, when items cannot just be essentially considered criminalized unless they are applied to the illegally prohibited item schedule, right? With a supporting statement as to why. How that limits the Constitution in any way, because that's essentially all this document is, and then it leaves open firearms, personal vehicles, it doesn't touch anything else, okay? So they're not going to have a valid explanation. I think let this go to the state and see what the state says, because it appears that the state
Abilene
has
you ignore the right to property, like throw that out for a second.
Okay.
Right. You keep coming back to the right to property. We're talking on a completely brand new subject matter now, right?
Okay.
Forget right to property. They could illegalize the right to wear purple hats by adding a penal code charge. That's what we need to attack.
Okay, so specifically addressing the editing, adding, or removing definitions from the penal code.
Exactly. Yeah. So this is a much broader scope thing. So while the contraband is like is one of the examples, by them taking this action unilaterally, they've created an environment where they're ignoring their constitutional authority by determining at a whim, internal to just the DOJ, that they can change the law statewide without any outside of the legislative authority. So
yeah, that's what they're asserting, and I recall them essentially being able to have no legislative powers whatsoever outside of applying, issuing common law based on trial contested rulings.
Exactly. And that's all and I think with that assertion, I think we need to make I think the right course of action is probably through impeachment. In conjunction with contesting the judicial, the judicial powers legislation and making them actually clarify that in the document, because apparently their word doesn't mean shit, right? Because they promised that we didn't need to elaborate on that any further because they weren't going to abuse this shit, and lo and behold, they go and abuse it like 1 week later. So
a couple things is there going to be a court center meeting after the storm?
We will, yes, kind of. Yes.
All right. Second thing. I already have, the impeachment thing, that's something I can assist with and maybe move forward with, but I already have a lawsuit against that specific justice. And,
which one?
Yeah, the Kyle Pred one, unless it was, don't think it was.
Wait, that hasn't seen the light of day yet?
No. So for me to have that lawsuit in a civil matter, and then attempt to add another layer of prosecution on an individual might be interpreted as malicious. Well, it's not.
No.
But it could have.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. It's not going to be malicious prosecution. We're going to go in. I think we file it. Let's talk more about this. I think we should tag it with you and Tony as well. And I don't even think we do that, but we file for an injunction on them touching the penal code because they're not responsible.
No, they have specifically been told by the state that their legislative authority remains solely within the establishment of common law, or I think perhaps they can maybe amend the Constitution as it relates to the DOJ itself.
No, they
or
can't.
Something.
Constitution amendments to the Constitution require a referendum.
Yeah, so all they have is establishing common law, and how much of that have they been doing lately?
They haven't done any of it, and that's the thing that makes me want to fucking take the fucking drive off a fucking cliff. It's like they have these. Abilene, that's the thing that gets me like losing my mind is like they have an avenue for this, but these dumb fucks are like so lazy that they won't do it. Like we had this whole situation with a hot gun. This is how bad it is. You ready for this? I attended a court case in which Jay Hobbs was found with a gun, and it was a hot gun, right?
Yeah.
And so, in other words, the gun came back to a series of crimes. He brought it to trial. In that trial, Grayson with an E, that's British Grayson, because E for Britain, A for America, you know what I mean? England versus E for England, A for America, or like, you know, the way they difference in how they spell gray. Anyways.
Yeah.
It's an easy way to remember. It's actually kind of funny. But anyways, so in this case, Grayson with an E ruled that there was no legal basis by which he could have those charges stick on Jay, right? And he took a somewhat political position in his ruling, as is his right, as is his authority, as is what happens with every judiciary across Western nations. As a consequence of this, the PD was mad. And these dumb fuck judges started smearing his fucking name and saying he did some idiot shit. Now, number one, that is misconduct on behalf of a justice, because they are effectively inherently conflicting themselves right off the bat by providing a out-of-band opinion on something that they did not rule over formally, right? Because the options were as follows. The judges, law enforcement who pushed the charges had the authority and the right to appeal it, and therefore have justices oversee it, which is a part of their role. They could have alternatively, whatever, the DOJ or the police department could have pushed legislation, as is everyone's right to make hot gun law a little more clear. In fact, Turner wrote something up, and they told me, and I spoke to the justices, hey, I've already spoken to Turner. We're writing legislation for hot guns. They said, don't do it. That seems like something we can handle. They were going to take the ruling, because I know I'm getting a little convoluted here. They were going to take the ruling where hot gun led to not guilty, and they were going to write case law based on the opposite. That based on this case, hot guns are now illegal. And I had to talk to Arcadia and Faulkner and be like, guys, case law requires precedence, which means it requires an affirmative ruling. You can't just take a random case and make up a post facto ruling outside of court and call that case law. That's not how it works. And they were freaking out because they're like, oh, so then that means someone else has to go to court? And like, oh, we have to go look back at an old ruling. Like, they don't understand the fundamentals, Abilene.
They don't really want to be judges, it sounds like, because
Exactly.
I'm looking at the common law document, and the last common law to be implemented was on July 13th by Angela.
Exactly. They don't want to be judges. They want to be fucking dictators. They can write case law. They literally have the authority to make case law. They literally have the authority to take on these cases and make, I just don't get it. Instead, what they're doing right now is they're listening to random cops and creating law out of band for God knows what reason. Like, I don't know what they're getting off on.
They're going through motions because I think they feel vulnerable and unknowledgeable, and they're just
Hold on. Give me 1 sec.
circling through what they do know, or try to think they know.
Um. Wait. Sorry, 1 sec.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened? Will Mehdi notice though? Wait, what do you mean? The moment is ruined? Oh my god. What? Holy shit. There was... Hold on. Wait. Oh my god. No way.
You're making me smile, and I haven't even heard it yet.
I parked myself on the side of the road. And there's a very amazing graffiti I didn't notice to the right of me. It's a flag, and it says, "This is broken. Can I return it?" Holy fucking shit. That's fucking crazy.
It's a sign, an omen.
Yeah. Ugh. That's fucking crazy. Sorry, where were we? I had to respond to some shit.
We were just going on about why they're doing the things they do. I was mentioning, it's they probably just feel vulnerable and don't know what else to do.
Who?
The judges, I think you were.
Fuck them being vulnerable. That doesn't make any. These guys are misinformed.
No, I know,
shit,
I know.
Like intentionally.
Fuck them. They feel that way, and that's why.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Who like? Yeah, like if they don't know what they're fucking doing, then why the fuck are they justices?
I don't think they want to be.
That's the problem. They just want the fucking like. It's delusional to me that conversations with random Leos, the chief didn't even know about this stuff. The detectives didn't even know about this stuff. I learned that one of their cops was working on something and it just magically became illegal. Like, I don't genuinely believe that there's like a valid understanding of how this shit's supposed to work. And this is despite the governor coming in and give clarity. I'm starting to believe, if you want me to be honest, is that one or two of these dumb fucks came in, listened to what the governor said, and then yapped a bunch of bullshit to their peers, right? So nothing productive came out of the meeting.
That's crazy and probably true.
It is. There's no other explanation. Like, okay.
So a document / I guess sub piece or full piece of legislation that specifically scopes in on the penal code. You still want to see that. So
yeah.
That in my notes.
Let's chat more after Tsunami. I think we should wait to circle in Michael, but this entire thing is just hyper fucking cooked. The thing that the real issue here isn't even the boots and shit. It's that these guys are circumventing the entire legislative process because they're speaking to people. Motherfuckers, they're not legislators. Like they're like what? Like I don't.
Here's what I'm seeing in this is they're deferring it to the state, but I think in their hearts they know the state is going to rule in our favor. But what they're saying in doing such is, we don't recognize your authority to us, and that if you want to pass any legislation, we're gonna run the state through the mire every single time until.
Good. I genuinely listen. It's gotten to the point, based on things I won't discuss, that it probably doesn't need to go that way, because they're
taking it that way. So yeah.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, it's a good thing. Anyways, but hey, no one can say we didn't try. Holy fuck. But the gloves are off now. There is no Mr. Nice Guy. Like, this shit's fucking egregious. Waste of our fucking time. I value my goddamn time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, hopefully this time the message from the state gets through to them that they don't have the authority to just shut down our legislation, especially if they can't articulate how it's unconstitutional.
Easy.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll see you after this storm.
All right. I appreciate it. All right, Abilene.
Of course.
I'll talk to you soon.